podcast party. Descent into Avernus.
My name is Hylan. My friends and I are getting ready to leave the only place many of us have ever called home, the city of Baldur's Gate. We're carrying a dangerous secret in the form of an infernal puzzle box. We need to get it to a sage named Silvira Savicus at Candlekeep, in the hope that she may be able to open it. Whatever is inside may help us discover how the city of Elturel was dragged into hell, and how to bring it back.
So, as you wake up in the morning, you get breakfast. Khalid and Fisk say their goodbyes, and you all head towards Worm's Crossing. Now, the neighborhood of Worm's Crossing is actually two enormous bridges. They span the nearby Chionthar River, and they meet at a place called Worm's Rock. You see as you get close to Worm's Crossing that there are ramshackle wooden tenements, shops. You assume there are probably taverns as well. They crowd both sides of the stone spans. They lean over the narrow road. You also see that as you get towards Worm's Crossing, the bridges themselves, even more of these shops and buildings actually are clinging to the sides of the bridges.
That's nuts.
Yeah, some of them are sort of like anchored to each other. You see that they have like ropes and metal chains. I would like you all to make history checks, please.
Hylan got a 16.
Renascence got a 4.
Ooh, Corbin critted again with a 22.
Nice. And Ofelia got a 15.
You know that the tendency of these structures, these houses, to occasionally sort of drop into the river. It happens, right? And because they're chained with rather large, thick chains to other buildings, they actually pull other buildings that they're attached to down into the river with them because they're so ramshackle and so poorly made. But it's certainly not enough to deter the residents who hope to be the first to sell their wares to travelers that are either on their way into the city or out of the city. Because it is through Worm's Crossing that the majority of people either leave or enter Baldur's Gate. Corbin, you know all of this, but you also know something additional. You know that there are not only shopkeepers who sell their wares, but Worm's Crossing is known as a place that is rife with pickpockets. You also happen to know that there is a relatively well-known halfling community in and around Worm's Crossing, most of which is actually quite well-intentioned and well-meaning, but there are certain parts of the crossing that are renowned to have within them cheats, criminals. There's a local crew there called the Crossers, which ensures that any and all, let's call them predatory practices, are applied only to travelers and not to their fellow bridge dwellers.
All right. Before we get there, right before we start crossing, everyone, you know, there's lots of sneak thieves here and cut purses, pickpockets and whatnot. So keep your money tight. My advice would be always put a little jangly purse on the outside with some coppers in it. And if they swipe that, well, they get a fistful of coppers, you know. And they got something and I lost nothing. But
yeah, that's a good idea. Also, maybe stay in the wagon just while we're crossing the bridge, because it's hard to get your pocket picked inside a wagon.
Yeah. And, you know, if anyone asks, we're looking for donations for the church, so they'll think we don't have money. Right?
Right.
Right.
Yes, make sure that you keep anything hidden, any sort of important weapons that look a bit shinier than average.
We could come across some of the crossers too. They're like enforcers here, and let's not cross, not making a joke, let's not cross them too much. But just be careful, watch out for halflings. They're little and they sneak under your big long arms, so be careful.
I've never been over the crossing before, so we're sort of leaving my area of expertise.
Right, we come out here with the church sometimes, but, you know, usually I got nothing on me, so there's nothing to steal, so I don't care. So just be careful.
As the 6 of you approach the Worms Crossing, and as you have given forewarning to your compatriots, Corbin, Hylan, on her horse, stops. And you guys notice that Hylan is no longer riding alongside you.
Is the horse there?
She is on top of the horse.
I cast message, and then I say, Hylan, are you all right? In her head.
I don't say anything right away. I'm just clutching the dragon statue that I have in my hand, and I'm looking back at the city. And I can hear blood rushing through my ears.
Stop the wagon for a second.
We'll stop the wagon.
Stand up in the wagon.
Okay.
And I also take a moment to look past her at the city. And I say, it's still there because of what we did, Hylan.
I'm just breathing. I'm trying to breathe calmly, like Melitiam taught me when I was younger. And I'm clutching the statue, and I look at my friends, and I look back at the city, and I think about the drawing and the fact that these powers that I've been given that have protected me and protected my friends always come when I'm fighting evil. And I try to have faith that I will continue to be given the strength that I need to leave this place and to go somewhere I've never been. And I turn and I look at Renascence and Corbin and Ofelia, and I decide to just try.
Hylan, I got taught a lot of stuff at Elmater's School for Friendless Boys. You know, I never tire of talking about it. A lot of the stuff they said, I didn't understand it. A lot more of the stuff they said, I didn't see any sense in it. But I do remember one bit, and it was that home is here, Hylan. And I point to her heart. That's home, not buildings.
I tear up a little bit and I smile at him and I just say, thank you. I'll be okay. Let's go do what has to be done.
Right. Keep a lookout for pickpockets.
Always.
I would like all of you to make perception checks as you cross over the Worms Crossing.
Gonna give myself guidance since Corbin warned us.
Hylan got a 21.
Corbin got a 22.
Ophelia got an 8.
Renascence got a 13.
Okay. You ride your carriage through and over the crossing. You see that there are hawkers trying to sell you everything under the sun from... This place is sort of... I don't know if you have ever heard of the Ponte Vecchio. You guys ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Went there on my honeymoon.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I mean, the Ponte Vecchio is a great place, but it sells very fine, watches and jewelry and stuff like that. This is not the Ponte Vecchio. This is places that are selling everything from, boots, which are clearly mismatched, to dishes.
Little wax replicas of Basilisk Gate.
Yep, 100. Yes, exactly. Hats, t-shirts.
Yeah.
I went to Baldur's Gate and all that I got was this fucking t-shirt. No, obviously, nobody wants to remember Baldur's Gate who leaves it. So why would they ever ask for anything that reminds them of that? But yeah, I mean, they are selling a variety of wares, tin and weapons that are pitted and shipped, clearly second and third hand, armor that has been malused to some degree. You see sacks of grain that have flies buzzing over them. People who are just desperate to sell whatever they can get, however they got it, to whoever they can. You see a group of what you think are children running across the road in front of your carriage, and you realize that they're not children. It's a group of halflings, young male halflings that are just running across the road. They're dressed in basically rags, and they are laughing to themselves as they run in front of the carriage. The horses sort of start for a second and come up on their hooves. They don't go into a full standing on their hind legs, but they get a little spooked, and then you hear more sort of jeering laughs. And Ofelia, from behind you, you feel something hard and wet hit your cloak.
Oh no, gross. Well, I turn around. What hit my cloak?
Okay, you turn around, there is a rotten tomato that has been thrown at your back.
I can't see where it came from.
Nope.
Well, I suppose we'll have to take the high road, but stay alert, everyone.
Did Corbin see that since he's sitting next to her up front?
Yeah, you did, Corbin. Actually, out of the corner of your eye, you see that it was one of these halflings that are sort of standing with their arms crossed and just giving you this really shit-eating grin from across the way.
Fireball.
Oh no!
Damn it, I was just going to say that. I can't believe you stole my fireball.
Sorry, how far away are they?
20 feet away.
Okay, I'm gonna hold up my hand, and then right next to them, an identical hand is going to manifest, and I'm just gonna smack him across the face on the way by.
The infamous Hylan mage hand slap. I love it.
Yes.
Yes. He smiles. He looks to his left. He's like, what the? Oh. And with that, a couple of the other halflings just jeer at him and laugh as he sort of clutches his face a little bit like, and he begins to just weep plainly in front of his compatriots. And with that, you exit the span of Worm's Crossing and find yourselves in a place that none of you, except maybe Ofelia, have been, which is the other side of the Thar River. You've made it. You're outside of Baldur's Gate and heading down the long road to Candlekeep. On your first day out of Baldur's Gate, you ride south along the coastway, and you see to the southwest of you the beautiful green verdant forest of the Cloakwood. Is there anything that you guys want to do during this first day, besides just following the road south?
Ofelia, would you be able to teach me a few words in Draconic?
I'd be happy to.
Maybe a couple of phrases. I should have learned it before now, but I'm not great at languages. But I think you would be a great teacher, so maybe just as we go, you could teach me a little bit?
I'd be happy to try.
Thanks.
No, but she's showing me how to drive the wagon, so...
Oh.
She's
I
a
could
really good
probably do both.
multitasker, I think.
All right, I'll practice with the wagon while you are teaching her words. All right?
That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, like, how do you say don't drive into that tree in Draconic?
Well, it's something, and my accent's a bit strong, but it's something like...
Oh, my ears.
Well, I don't speak Draconic, so that's not really going to help in any way at all.
It is approximately 15 miles outside of Baldur's Gate that the Cloakwood approaches to your southwest. It is a dense, dark forest. If you saw the forest from above, you would see no breaks in the trees at all. You would see no holes in the canopy. It is just trees as far as the eye can see, and these are massive, old trees. The Cloakwood has been known to have, well, shall we say, things living in it, and these things do not like intruders. And the fact that the coastway is so perilously close to the Cloakwood, why did they put this road right next to a dangerous forest and all the awful things living inside?
Right.
But hey, clearly there is some confidence that the things in the Cloakwood might not come out of the Cloakwood.
Yeah.
Do we pass any other travelers or patrols or anything on the road?
Yes, you do, in fact, pass quite a few travelers up and down the coastway, most of which are either farmers who are attempting to sell their wares either on the side of the road or moving their wares towards Baldur's Gate. You see some merchants as well who have large wagons, much larger than the ones that you have, laden with goods. They sort of wave at you as you pass. They don't mention anything or try to strike up a conversation with you.
So you're saying we can travel and shop at the same time?
It's up to you.
No, I'm good.
You like giant sacks of grain? Hey.
Are most people armed? Are they, like, do they have guards? How does it work?
Yes, good question. Some of the caravans do, in fact, have a couple of what you could assume to be mercenary guards who are protecting these caravans. You do happen to see along your travels that day as well a group of people who seem to be moaning and wailing as you pass them, and they're in a group. They are on horses and moving very slowly so that you're your wagon actually does pass them, and you see a man and a woman, and they have 2 children in the saddles in front of them, and the children are just crying, and that's what you hear when you approach. The woman is sort of slowly petting the child's hair in front of her, and the father, who you assume be the father anyway, says, just keep her quiet, for God's sake, keep her quiet. You never know who's going to come up on the road.
Is there anything to give away if they're religious, or are they just commoners, merchants, nobles, whatever?
They don't have any noble finery or anything like that, and they don't have any kind of wagon either. It is just 2 horses and 2 adults, 2 kids. They're dressed in linen garb, probably commoners. They do not seem to have any goods of any kind at all on them or behind them. Not even saddlebags.
Oh, Since I'm on a horse, I'm gonna slowly ride up to them, and if I make eye contact, I'm gonna put my hands up as if to say, like, I'm not a threat, and just say, hello, friends. Is something wrong? Is there something we can do to help you?
The father of these 2 children looks over at you and says, No, we're fine. We'll be just fine. Thank you.
I promise I'm no threat to you. I'd like to help you if I can. Your children seem very upset.
Make a persuasion check.
That's a 5.
The father looks at you, and his gaze turns cold, and he squints at you, Hylan, and says, I said, we'll be just fine. Now, if you don't mind, I've got a family to take care of.
Okay, well, best of luck.
Gods know we'll need it, he says, under his breath.
Corbin would like to kind of stand in the wagon and say, Hylan, do they need healing? I could give them healing if they need it.
Could we at least offer you that, friends? Are you hurt?
We don't need none of your magic.
I say, I know we look like exactly what you are hoping not to run into on the coastway, but we're not what you're afraid of. Here, and I will toss them a small bag of 5 gold coins.
The mother grabs it out of the air and says, Gazet, we can't look a gift horse in the mouth. We've got children to feed. The father looks at the woman and says, I know, Tethy, but what are we going to do?
Were they were traveling in the same direction that we were, correct? We overtook them?
That's correct.
You from Elturel?
What gave it away?
I reckon they turned you back at Basilisk Gate. Now you're headed south. See if there's someplace that will let you in.
I don't know. What do we do?
It's got to be inns or way stations, small farms and villages.
Why would they take a family they don't know in?
Because of that, I point to the bag I just threw to the mother.
He looks at the woman, then at you, and says, It's very kind of you. It's very kind.
We're headed south as far as Candlekeep. If you want to trail us, might be safer for you.
We're going at a much slower pace than you are. You know, children and all. We'll probably be out of your eyes within a couple of miles. But don't worry about us now that we've got something to go on, after all.
Just make sure you never show anyone the whole amount of money at once. Make sure you always have just 1 gold piece out at a time, okay?
Blessings be upon you. Blessings.
The children could ride in the wagon. I don't mind walking.
The children stop crying as soon as they hear that and look up at their mother and father. The woman sort of looks down at the child and says, Do you want to go in the wagon with the nice men?
I say, Corbin, we got a big target on us.
Target?
Listen, best you keep us in sight, but might not want to share the wagon with us. Sorry.
I understand. We're all targets now, aren't we?
How many horses do they have? 2?
Just 2.
I would imagine they wouldn't want a little kid riding a horse by themselves.
No, I was thinking giving them the wagon and us
Yeah.
just, using the 3 horses and doubling up at times and switching off, Horses can carry 2.
We don't know, though, when we might need to have some cover for ourselves. We don't know what's in store for us.
Who's in the front of the wagon?
I'm sitting in the front. I think it's me and Corbin, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, both of you guys can make perception checks.
Corbin rolled a 12.
Ophelia rolled a 10.
Okay.
Renaissance is more watching behind us, like to see
Right.
if someone starts following us. I'm in the back of the wagon.
Then you can make a perception check too.
Well, Renaissance got a 3. Guess he's pretty distracted by these people.
Understandable.
My passive is 18. I don't know if that helps.
It probably does a little bit, actually. As you are looking back and forth between the riders, their children, the people in your particular group, you look over the hill to the south, and you see, probably about 5 miles away from you, a thin plume of smoke.
Looking at the smoke, would it be like a regular fire, or does it look like something bad? Like white smoke, black smoke?
Yeah, it doesn't look like a forest fire. It looks like just a thin stream of smoke.
Hey guys, I see smoke ahead. See, it's not a cloud, way over there. Could be there's a larger group. Maybe we could take these people to them.
Falaster, does that smoke look like it's on the coastway or off it? You've been this way before.
It looks like it's probably directly on the coastway, or maybe just a little bit off to the side.
What time of day is it?
It's just getting into sunset.
Could be someone camping.
Yeah, it's somebody camping on the side of the road, which we'll have to do ourselves, so maybe we'll see if we can overtake them first, and if it's safe, then we can all camp.
How about we just get these people there? If trouble happens, then they can run off or hide. The parents will still be on their horses. I think it'll be all right.
Yes, I think that's a wise plan.
The adults look at each other and nod and say, well, I guess it's better that we stay together and safety in numbers and all. It looks like the 4 of you... Oh, sorry, I didn't see the 2 of you in the back. Hello. Falaster stands up and says, hello there. Reya says nothing. If you don't mind, I mean, we've got kids. We have no weapons at all on us.
Do you know how to use weapons?
I've used a rake in my front yard. That's pretty much it.
I think if there's trouble, you really shouldn't be fighting. You should be protecting the children.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you maybe fall like 100 yards behind us, and we'll get there first to make sure it's safe.
That's very kind of you. I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
Renaissance.
Excellent. Nice to meet you. The rest of you?
I'm Hylan.
Ophelia.
Painbearer Corbin.
Well, we'll just be back here, and yes, thank you very much.
If it's okay with you guys, I think I'm gonna ride about, 60 or so feet ahead and just sort of scout it out. And I'll come back and tell you what I see.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Okay. So it looks like we get sort of 3 groupings of people. Hylan in front, the wagon behind about 60 feet, and then father, mother, and children behind you, about 100 yards. Okay. In about 30 minutes, you reach the top of that hill and look down the road, down the coastway, into the valley. There are some beautiful green plains that are illuminated by this beautiful red sunset to the west. And you see in that valley an enormous number of people. You see them standing by wagons and horses, and in the middle of this group of people, there is a rather large bonfire around which they are all either sitting or standing or walking around. You estimate the number of people to be somewhere around 30 or 40 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are there any children?
At this distance,
Yeah.
you can see that there are differences in the heights between the people, so you can assume that there are adults and children.
Okay.
And you can see about 7 or 8 different wagons.
Do they... Well, I wouldn't be able to tell from this distance if they seem sort of ramshackly or if they're in good repair.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. You don't see any that are in the midst of being repaired. They all seem to be intact.
Okay, I'll go back to our wagon and I will relay this information.
Hylan, you said that smoke's from a bonfire?
Yeah.
Were they just burning wood, or was it an execution?
They didn't seem to be particularly emotional or demonstrative. They were sort of just milling around and sitting around it.
Could be more refugees.
Yeah.
Well, they're between here and Candlekeep. There's not much else for it but to keep going.
Right.
So you think we should just bypass them and leave them alone?
Well, how much daylight do we have left?
Maybe another hour.
And you said it took Hylan. Like, how far are we now from this encampment?
I would say you're probably a half an hour away.
Okay. I'm inclined to just camp here.
Yeah.
Where we currently are?
Yeah, because maybe they're headed south, and then maybe in the morning they'll just keep going south and we'll never run into them. Given what we're carrying, I'd rather run into as few people as possible.
That's true. This family can camp with us. Is there any sort of cover aside from going into Fangorn, or?
Unfortunately not. There may be trees here and there every 50 yards or so, but it is not a very heavily wooded area. You've already passed the Cloakwood pretty much to your northwest.
I see. Okay, we'll just have to keep watch.
Yeah, I just say we pull the wagon off the road maybe 100 yards, 150 yards to the east, and set camp there.
Okay, fantastic. You pull the wagon off the road, you set up your tents. It is a beautiful, starry night. The ambient light from Baldur's Gate, all of the candles and torches and lights from all the various shops and houses, tends to put a sort of gray haze over the city, in that you can't really see stars very well. But on your first night out of Baldur's Gate, you see them very clearly. There are innumerable lights in the sky, and they glitter, and occasionally you catch one sort of streaking through the sky.
I didn't know there was so many. It's like mostly stars. Feel a bit cheated.
I know. Ofelia, have you ever seen anything like this before?
I have, but not for a very long time. It's nice to see them again.
Anything you guys want to do that night?
I can teach Hylan some more draconic words.
Yeah.
Basic things. Where is the library? How was your weekend? You know.
I am eating a sandwich.
Where's the privy?
Yeah, that's an important one.
I'm anticipating some sort of perhaps conflicts with dragons, so I'm trying to learn things like, you know.
Oh, like diplomacy stuff.
Yeah, and also some threatening stuff. You know, just maybe like.
I'll teach you. Your horde will be mine soon enough.
Fantastic.
Threats, draconic threats, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll polish that silvered longsword that I bought in Baldur's Gate before we left, and I'll hold it out to Reya Mantlemorn, and I say, "That's Alona. We run into any more of those devils like we saw under Van Thampa Villa. My brother says they hate silver. It's more effective than just regular iron, so you may have more luck with that than the sword you're carrying."
He looks at you and says, "I thank you kindly for this, but this sword has a special meaning to me. To accept the weapon of another is to accept great shame."
I'm not asking you to give up your sword. Just take this one as well. It would be a great shame if I died because you wouldn't use a silver sword to help me. You know what I'm saying?
"You have one as well?" she says.
I got this. I take out Heaven's Fall, the mace.
She says, "That was the mace you found in the villa."
Yeah, spent some time with it, and I think it's a holy weapon. I think they were keeping it secret so that it couldn't be used against them, but it's not an evil thing.
No, it's not. She takes the silver sword in her hands and tests the weight, pivots, makes a long stroke through the air with it, and then a stabbing motion, and says, "Well, this'll do, I guess." And then she attaches the sheath to the other side of her belt. "Thank you."
You're not going to tell me the story about your sword?
It's an heirloom. We Hellriders have a long history. I don't think you'd want me to tell you the whole thing.
Anything particularly relevant to our current situation might be helpful.
There are many things that are relevant. Question is whether you'd find them interesting or not, I guess.
I've sat through a lot of history and a lot of religion. I might be more receptive than you think, but might be worth telling everyone, to be honest. I sort of gesture back to assume everybody's doing their own thing around the camp. More people that know what you know, better.
She sighs and says, if everyone wants to hear me go on and on about what the Hellriders are about, then that's their choice, I guess.
Nobody's looking for an award-winning performance. Just tell the truth as far as you know it.
All right. She stands up and walks closer to the campfire. And she looks up into the night sky and says, it was over a century past that the Great Troubles began. Fiends roamed the lands to the north and west of Elturel. Fields were despoiled, livestock slaughtered, homes razed, and people dragged off to a terrible and unknowable fate. Terror gripped the hearts of all. The city's cavalry at that time were not called the Hellriders. They were simply the Elturgardian Knights. But they rode across the land, striking down these hellish foes wherever they found them, and suffering fearful losses. But it was never enough, and you sense a tinge of sadness overcomes Reya. And she says, for every fiend they destroyed, it seemed as though 2 more appeared elsewhere. She swallows and says, the ruler of Elturel, at that time known as the High Rider, asked his people to pray to the gods for aid. And to everyone's astonishment, it came. A mighty angel entered the city the next day. The prayers of Elturel had been heard, and help had come. The angel located the gate through which the fiends were entering the natural world on the fields of the dead, west of the city. The angel declared that they would lead the cavalry into Avernus itself, destroying the infernal host massing there and striking a great blow against the forces of darkness. The High Rider sent out the riders of Elturel, now numbering many thousands, with the angel at their head, riding a mighty golden mastodon. With a great cry, the angel and their army charged through the gate. The legions of Avernus trembled and buckled, but they did not crumble. The angel was defeated, and the remnants of the Elturgardian army returned to Elturel, overcome with grief at the loss of their glorious general, but confident that the lords of the 9 hells would think twice about threatening Elturel again. There were great celebrations to honor the valiant knights of the cavalry, who became known as Hellriders from that day forth. Their deeds live on as the most valiant Hellriders, long since entombed in catacombs beneath High Hall, have granted their holy names to their descendants, as well as their heirlooms. And she looks down at her sword.
Mantlemorn is one of those holy names?
Yes, it was.
What about this angel? Do they have a name?
I do not know. It was lost, but there are beautiful monuments and stained glass windows in Elturel depicting this battle, this valiant charge. And we in the Hellriders are inspired to do justice to the memories of those that have come before.
This story she's heard, does it sound like anything that I've encountered previously in my religious training?
Doesn't, but you can make either a religion or a history check. It's going to be a tough one. I'll give you that one.
I will try to give myself guidance as I'm trying to think of it, if it rings any kind of bells with me.
Okay.
That is a 17 total.
You've heard snatches of this, but nothing like the full tale as told by Reya here. You've heard of battles that have happened between forces of light and darkness, and that Elturel was at its heart. But this rendition is inspiring and heartbreaking and, yeah.
In Corbin's studies, would he have heard of this angel?
You can make a religion check as well. Again, it will be a tough one.
16?
No, strangely enough.
Going to, in my head, say, Melitium, is this the angel whose name you would not say?
You hear only 2 words. It is.
I say, Reya, you're part of a courageous and valiant lineage, and from what you say, I see it as an honor that you're with us, and I can tell that you mean to carry on their work. I need to ask you, nothing has been heard of this angel since?
No.
I think maybe this angel has fallen.
She purses her lips and her brow tenses, and she says, "What?"
We saw that statue, Reya, in the Van Thamper Villa, and it was of a very powerful-looking angel, and it was an image of worship. And when I contacted my angel, they said that they would not speak her name.
Do you mean contacted your angel? You have contact with angels?
I have, and I kind of gesture to my eyes. In the growing darkness, they're still a little bit brighter than normal eyes. And I say, I have some celestial blood, and as you have a connection with yours, I do with mine, and I'm able to communicate in different ways with an angel who takes an interest in me and guides me.
And you trust this angel?
Of course, as long as I've been able to understand or grasp ideas or hear voices, this angel has been with me. And they've never steered me wrong. They've always tried to make sure I live up to high ideals, like you.
She nods and says, I don't know what to make of this. I have been raised to know that the deeds that this creature did were of such goodness and purity, and that the city, the life that I have led, all of the ideals that I have followed,
they're still worthwhile.
They are tainted? They are corrupted?
No, not those ideals are not corrupted. Just maybe something about being in the hells was too much for this angel over time, and they fell.
This is too much. I'm sorry. And she stands up and says, I must have a breath. And she stands up and walks away.
I just look at my friends as if to say, I'm sorry.
No, it's nothing wrong, Hylan. I agree with you. I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense. She's just a kid, and she was indoctrinated pretty hardcore by the Hellriders. There's a certain rigidity of thinking when you grow up in an institution. She reminds me of me a little bit when I was a teenager. But you just got to give her time.
It will be better for her to know the truth, but it may take her some time.
Yeah, Ofelia, you're right. I just hope she can see that the ideals that she tries to live up to and the deeds she aspires to are not tainted by this. The good in her lineage and in her people is intact. They're not held only by some angel or devil. They're theirs. It's how they live their lives.
It's something she must learn for herself.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Tal Aviezer. The show will be back in just a minute for the second half. As always, we're offering free online adventures with our Dungeon Masters. These free games fill up quickly, so if you'd like to grab a spot, you should join our email list or our Discord server. Links to both can be found at cast-party.com. We recently launched an improved version of our online store. You can check it out at cast-party.com so you can wear what the cool kids are wearing and play what the cool kids are playing. And of course, our professional dungeon masters are available to hire for online games. Check us out at cast-party.com and follow us on Facebook at CastPartyDND, Twitter at CastParty2, and Instagram at cast_party. If you enjoy Cast Party Descent into Avernus, please follow the show, rate us, leave us a review. We're doing this as a labor of love, and it really helps us a lot. We'd love to hear from you. Message us on social media or email us at info@cast-party.com. Thanks very much for listening, and now back to our adventure on the road to Candlekeep.
Does anyone know the name of this angel by any chance?
They won't tell me.
Ren, you know the name of this angel?
No, I don't. There's something really familiar about the story, but I think there's pieces missing. But I don't know what they are.
All right. I'm just worried about it, that's all.
Me too.
It's pretty fucking worrying.
Well, perhaps we may have the opportunity to learn more from the scholars at Candlekeep.
That's true. If anywhere holds that knowledge, they will.
Yeah, they've probably got a big section on hell. Under H.
Well, we'll have a contribution to make to it. Have we read any of this book?
Which book?
Apocalypto?
No, I don't believe that you guys have taken the time to do so yet.
Help yourself, Ofelia. I pass her Apocalypto.
I will read it during our downtime if I can.
Easy beach read kind of thing.
Oh, I'm sure.
Here we go. Let's see what's in this book.
It's not a pleasant read. First of all, it's all in verse. That doesn't mean that it's an unpleasant read, but
Pretentious.
I'm sorry, As you read it, it is a beautiful, although terrifying, some form of poem that just goes on for pages and pages and pages. You see it's broken up into sort of stanzas and sections. It describes in gruesome detail the end of the multiverse. You realize that this book, fictional though it may be, seems to be some kind of prophecy by an unknown author.
That is terrifying. Is there anything about it that seems familiar to what's happening right now?
Do you wish to read more?
Oh, I don't like that tone.
I do.
Okay.
Well, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna ask a question. To
Yes.
what extent do I get the sense? How much does it remind me of that sheet music that I've encountered before?
It's familiar to some of the music that you've encountered, the ones that terrified you and brought you nightmares. It obviously wasn't as lyrical as what you've encountered so far, and none of the things that you read in this strange tetrameter seem to have occurred in the past, that you know of anyway. But there's something in just the way that it's written, just gets under your skin. It talks about worlds collapsing and falling into great bottomless pits, that the fires of some unknowable darkness will cover the known planes of existence, and that in the end, all will come to naught. But that's just the first chapter.
Has it got naked ladies in it?
Not that I can tell so far.
It's not illustrated at all. It's just words for hundreds and hundreds of pages.
Yeah. And I'm not reading it out loud intentionally.
Yeah.
While she's reading that, I'm like, Corbin, Renascence, come here. If you lay down and then you put your feet up in the air, it's like you're walking in space.
Wait, what?
Come on, do it.
I'll do it. Oh yeah, look, it's like I'm stepping on the gods.
Right?
Well, that came out wrong.
All right.
I didn't mean it. I sort of yell up at the
All right.
stars.
Corbin will lay on his back and stick his feet up in the air. And this is weird.
Pretend you're walking.
Yeah, it's like a big glittery cosmic floor.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm swimming, but not in the water. Wait, this is weird. I'm going to go on guard duty.
Okay. With that, I would say, I'm assuming that you're volunteering for first watch there, Corbin.
Sure.
Fantastic.
I figured out with the way my dark vision thing works is I always have 300 feet of dark vision. It's just when I give it to other people, then they have it and it lasts an hour. So I always have 300.
That's amazing.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
You are Sam Fisher with his goggles on, just, looking around.
Yep.
I'm not sure that I, Tal, have 300 feet of normal vision.
We could test
Probably
that.
not,
We could
no.
get like,
Yeah. I mean, I can see things, but
Right, but not.
I'm not sure if I have 5 feet of normal vision, to be perfectly honest, without my glasses.
Me neither anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who would like to take second watch?
I'll take second watch.
Okay.
When I go to sleep, though, I give Tal 300 feet of dark vision. I'll give it to everybody for an hour. And he'll also have the blessing where he has advantage on initiative.
Okay, great. And then who's taking third?
I'll take third.
Fantastic. All right. So all three of you, individually, please make perception checks.
Hylan got a natural 20 for a 23.
Corbin got a 15.
Renascence got an 11.
Okay. Your time in the dark is... it's quiet.
Great.
No happenings, no vicious attacks from roadside bandits, no awful monsters coming out of the nearby cloakwood to eat your face. It's just the night sky and you.
Any activity from bonfire people?
You look down on the enormous number of people around the bonfire. You see that most of them have either retreated into tents or are sleeping near to the fire itself, which over the night does seem to be burning through into embers. But no, you don't see any kind of movement or activity.
Okay, then I guess we have a little road breakfast and get rolling again pretty soon after dawn.
Okay. The morning comes bright and beautiful the next day, and you guys get your horses and your wagon together and begin your second day towards Candlekeep.
I can't get used to how much the air doesn't stink out here.
I know, it's pretty great.
I don't like it. I like the smell of the city.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just different. I'm not sure if I like it or not. It's just different.
I like it.
I think you'll get used to it.
I don't think so, but maybe.
After about half an hour's travel, you approach the rather sizable encampment that you saw atop the hill, and you see that there are about 100 feet off. You see that there are people milling about, packing up tents, attempting to sort of wrangle children in some cases. A couple of them are trying to lift a heavy load onto a wagon. A couple of them are attempting to butcher some pigs. You see a couple of other people that do not seem to be in the garb of commoners, and they seem to actually wear tabards over what you can assume to be some form of chain.
Is there a symbol on them?
You're too far away to make it out, unfortunately.
We approach or keep going?
I say we just... No one messes with us, we don't mess with them. We got a destination.
Yeah,
Yes,
I agree.
I agree as well.
Okay.
All right.
The father and mother and their two children from the day before do happen to see this rather sizable group of people and stop you and say, I think this is where we get off.
Yeah, I was going to say, might be safer with numbers.
Well, I mean, they're all Elder Guardians, so
Great.
I just don't know what we're going to do. I guess maybe they'll have some place for us to stay, I guess, for now.
You got skills?
I'm an artist.
Oh, so
Really?
So no skills.
beg your pardon?
Corbin,
That's
No, I
not
mean,
true,
no,
Corbin.
no,
That's not true at all.
I meant useful
who made you
skills.
shield?
Corbin.
What?
Corbin, look what you're wearing.
Yeah.
Is that new armor?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, an artist made all of that, Corbin. And it's very important to support your local artists.
I think a blacksmith made it, but all right.
An artisan.
Look what a good job Ofelia did painting up my split mail. I show her the eye.
Ophelia's not useless.
Thank you, Hylan.
Are you, Ophelia?
No, I am not. I should say not.
Wait, singers are artists?
Yes.
Oh. I don't get out much. Sorry.
Anyway, Ralphus, Colleen, what you want to do is as quickly as you can.
Those were my wife's names, but
Yeah, it's a much nicer city than I've heard than Baldur's Gate, and I don't think they'll be turning away you and your people. You'll have a better shot there.
I don't know, but I guess
Ralphus, chin up,
my name isn't
confidence,
Ralph.
chest out.
Ralph.
Yeah, but chin up, chest out, shoulders down.
I don't.
Relax your knees.
Okay.
There you
Anyway,
go.
it was a pleasant day's ride with you. And behind him, you see the two kids are just giggling their heads off.
I'm gonna take two more gold pieces and hand it to him and just say, well, yeah, you're an artist, you're gonna need this.
See, I told you, but can I invest in your artist business? Here, take 10. I give him 10 gold.
My goodness, I haven't seen this much gold in a month. Dearie, look, I told you I made the right choice. And she just, like, hand waves. Should have married a banker.
Well, in any case, I hope you will be safe and protected with your community. And if you find that you are not, well, you have quite a lot of gold now.
I guess it'll be enough for me to barter for food and whatever they have serving as lodging over there. And hey, look, they have some Hellriders. And when he says that, Reya looks over at the main encampment. And there, walking to and fro with these tabards on, are people that she recognizes the outfits of. And although her particular outfit is hidden from view, she looks at Falaster and then at you, Renascence, and says, "That's good to see."
Are these the people you mentioned earlier that were wearing tabards?
That's correct.
You know them, Reya?
No, why would I know them?
I thought he said they were Hellriders.
And she, like, stares at you and says, "I don't know why you're mentioning this right now. I thought I was supposed to be incognito."
Oh, I didn't. Oh, the people are still standing right there. Ralph is yelling.
Yeah, sure.
Ralph left.
I say, never mind. Must be too much sun and clean air. Let's move on.
Well, it was like I said, it was a pleasure to yeah. Anyway, I've got to go. Best of luck to whatever your endeavors are, and yeah, I like the fact that you're calling me Ralph. Maybe I'll take it as a nickname.
It could be your artistic pen name.
True.
I like it. I'm gonna go with it.
Always just have one name. It's more intriguing.
People like that.
So just Ralph.
Ralph. I love it. I'm gonna do all my works. I'm just gonna sign it R-A-L-F. Ralph.
Great.
Beautiful. Well, goodbye, Ralph.
Bye. And then he takes his wife and his 2 children and walks towards the large group of people.
Great.
They take their horses, or are they leaving them?
Yeah, they lead them towards the caravan.
Great.
Now that we're alone, Reya, do you know them?
I do, but I don't know if it's a good idea to, considering what happened with Krieg, I don't know if it's a good idea to expose my identity here.
I agree. Maybe we should double time it out of here just in case.
Yeah, no reason to tarry
Those
here.
nice people blab, you know.
Yep, we go.
Okay, down you go along the coastway. It's another beautiful day. This one is a little hotter than the day before. The sun high in the sky, no clouds at all. And those of you in armor begin to sort of swelter a little bit.
I don't.
That's true. Fire resistance.
Do I notice that everybody seems, hot and sweaty?
I would say probably a little more than they normally have been in the cool dark of Baldur's Gate.
Okay, I slow down and I just pat Ofelia on the back and I make her clothes cool.
Oh, thank you, honey.
And then I do the same with Corbin and Renascence.
Nice.
Thanks.
Oh, none for me, thanks. This is just about my speed.
All right.
If only you could do that in real life, Carrie.
Right?
I know. I know. I just make your clothes smell like vanilla, Renascence.
Oh,
man.
that's lovely.
Who doesn't like vanilla smelling clothes, honestly?
What's that horrible smell? What is that?
I had to say it, didn't I?
I don't like it. It smells like a candy store or something.
Okay, how about this? And I will just change it to a nice sort of rosemary citrus.
Yep. Oh, what's that? It's burning my nose. Oh.
Okay, I make it smell like
Horse manure. Horse manure.
incense.
No,
Incense
no,
that I've
horse
smelled
manure.
in the Shrine of Suffering. I just keep tapping Renascence over and over.
She starts sneezing.
Sorry, Renascence, and I just negate everything, and you just smell like you again.
Kind of like that.
It gets to about midday. No one along the road. Falaster says, "We are making good time, I must say. We may get there in 4.5 days instead of 5.
Great. What do you do once you get to Candlekeep? Can you stay at Candlekeep? Are there inns sort of adjacent to Candlekeep, or?
Oh, yes. If you are, of course, studying at Candlekeep, you are a guest. You can stay as long as you have research to perform. If you are a visitor to Candlekeep, there is, of course, an inn in the courtyard just outside the main keep. It's called the Hearth. It is a pleasant place to stay. I like it quite a lot. You may find refreshments of various kinds there.
Great.
About an hour later, you travel over a rather small hill, and just as soon as you go over it, on the side of the road, you see a wagon that has been seemingly dismantled. You see a couple of horses nearby. You see a single person who is attempting to sort of try to put the wagon back together, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
A sodden-looking soul attempting to sort of lift part of this wrecked wagon from the side of the road. You see one of the wheels has just popped off. The wagon is on its side. Clearly, the wheel has been thrown. Potatoes and other foodstuffs, which you can't really see from this distance, like spilled out of the crate in the grass.
Uh-oh.
All right, let's help this fellow.
Sure.
Sometimes people set up traps. They make it look like someone needs help, and then someone else jumps you. So just
Better believe it.
be aware, that's all. But he could just be a farmer. Let's help him.
Sure.
As you approach, you just hear him heaving, like, oh, bloody fucking thing is so... He attempts to sort of right the cart and repair the wheel. It's not looking good, unfortunately.
Hey, I think I could lift that wagon.
He turns around, he says, oh, nice. Look at that. I've got visitors. Nice. Hello. And he waves.
I look around. It's just him on his own, or are there other people here?
You can make a perception check.
Yeah, are there any things people could be hiding behind here, or is it pretty open?
You see like a couple of bushes, and the trees are relatively close by. You don't really...
I'm just gonna make a little circuit.
Yeah, make a perception check.
Dirty 20 on the perception check.
Very
for
nice.
Renascence. I'm not engaging with this guy. I'm just keeping a lookout.
Yeah, Matt, could I try making an insight check to sort of read his body language and see, does he appear to be genuine? Is he really struggling? I've got visitors is sort of a weird thing to say, so it's kind of perked her little elf ears up.
Sure.
As it were.
Go for it. Absolutely.
That's a 9.
Body language is pretty straightforward.
Just a nice farmer.
Yeah, maybe a potato farmer.
Potato farmers are always honest,
Absolutely.
in my experience.
Corbin will approach him
Yep.
with a smile on his face, but he'll be very wary of this being a trap.
Okay.
If he seems like it's okay, he'll try to lift the wagon up with his shoulders, and he's got powerful build, so he can do that.
Sure. Renascence, you don't see anything scanning the area.
Okay. Just sitting in the wagon.
Yeah, sure. The wagon's about 20 or 30 feet away. The man and you stand side by side, Corbin, and I want you to make an athletics check, please.
Il Morta, give me strength, and I give myself guidance.
Okay.
I rolled a 9 plus 3, which is like 12.
Okay. You give a good heave. The wagon is completely on its side, and even with this guy helping you, the wagon does not move.
Hang on. I jump out of the wagon.
Come on, Ren, I need some help.
Right. I will go over and give it a try.
Okay. I will give you advantage on this. Whoever has the higher athletics can certainly make it with advantage.
Mine's +5.
Okay.
I'm plus 3, so yeah, you should do it.
Okay. And I'll guidance myself as well.
Great. You're on one side of the wagon, Renascence. Corbin's on the other. The farmer is sort of in between you.
So it's a total of 28.
Oh, wow, 28. Absolutely, yeah. With Corbin's help, Renascence, as well as this farmer's, you begin to lift the wagon higher. What is your passive perception, Corbin?
18.
As you look over at Renascence, you look at this guy's garments, and you see that under his cloak, he's wearing a mailed vest.
Ren,
I'm lifting a wagon, Corbin. Can it wait?
no, he's wearing... Our farmer's
right with
And
you.
then as soon as you say
our farmer's
that,
wearing armor.
as soon as you say that,
Damn it, you interrupted me.
He grabs for his cloak, throws it off, and this gentleman is wearing a full suit of chainmail, and he screams out, "Get them!"
Thanks for listening. This episode featured the Dungeon Master stylings of Matt Gordon, with Andy Cannistra as Painbearer Corbin Shiv, Rachel Tamarin as Ofelia, Carolyn Fox as Hylan, and me, Tal Aviezer, as Renascence. This episode was edited by Carolyn Fox and me. Our original theme music is by Lauren Anker and Anthony DiMasso. Some sound effects in this episode are courtesy of Syrinscape. Remember, if you enjoy Podcast Party Descent into Avernus, please follow the show, rate us, and leave us a review. Thanks very much for listening. We will be back in 2 weeks with the next episode.
A non-natural 20.
That will hit, obsolete.
All right.
Let me say that again, since obsolete doesn't actually exist as a word. I'm like, what is coming out my mouth? Obsolete? Obsolete, yes. I'm going to name an NPC obsolete. Yeah.
It's better than Altus.
Is it
Yeah,
better?
Altus, whoever decided, just marginally better.